Thanks, Praveen, for giving the opportunity. So I come from IDC, and my day-to-day job is to interact with a lot of fintech companies, new age startups, a lot of security vendors in the space, and end consumers as well. So I'll try to bring in a neutral perspective. We have already heard from our esteemed panelists. So first is, in any organization, because security infrastructure can be very expensive for these new age startups. So, what kind of genesis you have for security, and it comes from the leader or the founder. So do you have a dedicated chief information security officer or not? So a lot of organizations wherein I talk to, if they don't have the funds, they rely on third-party security providers to adjust that. Secondly, if you talk about the architecture for security, it starts with when you are designing the whole product, when you are having the blueprint of the product. So security has been should ideally be ingrained by design, not as an afterthought as an interface. So when you are writing your first code, all the developers should have that piece of thing in mind. Thirdly, if you look at what kind of security tools you are using, so you have strong identity and access management, two-factor authentication, privilege access management, encryption tools. So recently, CERT, which is Computer Emergency Response Team in India, they advised banks and NBFCs to have strong encryption capabilities. So a lot of companies, they are satisfied with HTTPS, some are satisfied with secure socket layer, but do you go further down, you secure your data, encrypt your databases, do you encrypt your emails as well and encrypt your product? So again, that onus and responsibilities lies with a lot of fintech companies. Then Mr. Lal, I think, touched upon the kind of auditing infrastructure you have in place. So do you have regular third-party audits to access your security in posture? There are organizations which regularly and rigorously work with white hat hackers. They invite them in their premises and ask them to breach their security parameters. There are even some organizations which have dedicated bug bounty programs. Then if you talk about managing your internal risk, so internal risk can come out from your employees. Those are your ticking time bombs, and also your third-party suppliers and contractors. So we have already seen a lot of hackings being done either through phishing emails or penetration via various supplier infrastructure. Lastly, I would say if you see a lot of these fintech companies I talk to, they focus on what kind of SLAs they have when they receive a request of any change in compliance from government bodies or regulatory bodies. Also, whenever they have any information of any potential vulnerabilities in the system. So normally the average lag time, I would say, is around 14 days. So they receive the request and it takes around 14 days to get that thing implemented in their production systems. Another question which Praveen mentioned about how we can become fintech leader is, I think there will be a lot of things which fintech companies will do individually. Post demonetization, I think that the good thing which demonetization did for these companies was to bring in the scale, wherein we saw a surge in number of transactions. But secondly, it also exposed a lot of vulnerabilities in the ecosystem. Now, a lot of these vulnerabilities that you have, these entrepreneurs in their board. Secondly, it also helps the entrepreneurs as well. They know what's coming in their table, and gives also, they are prepared for they reduce the lead time to implement that in their production systems.